have exercised our statutory function under Section 404(7) of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, and we acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of their responsibilities. Number 2, we confirm that the accounting and reporting policies of the company are in accordance with the legal requirements and ethical practices, and that the scope of planning of the external audit program are extensive enough to provide a satisfactory evaluation of the internal control systems. Number 3, we have deliberated with the external auditors who have confirmed that necessary cooperation was received from management in the course of their statutory audit, and we are satisfied with management's response to the external auditor's recommendations on accounting and internal control matters, and with the effectiveness of the company's system of accounting and internal control.
I hereby lay before you, on behalf of the Board of Directors, the company's audited financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2023, with the reports of the directors and auditors as required by Section 388, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020.
One thing I have to tell you first is that we are in an evolving industry. Things are beginning to take shape. And one thing that I can assure you on behalf of the board is that we are preparing and we are highly suited in terms of our capabilities to take advantages of any opportunity that comes up in the sector. With respect to power infrastructure and improvement in power supply, I will make reference to the efforts of the Presidential Panel or Presidential Power Initiative, PPI, which is being executed through the FGN Power Company. The immediate goal of these entities is to ramp up power infrastructure in terms of transmission and distribution to about 8,000 to 9,000 megawatts. I'm sure today you are aware that generation in terms of capacity is in excess of the grid constraints that we have. However, once this is being ramped up, we believe before the end of the year, there will be adequate power supply and improvements in the overall infrastructure for NESI to bring an additional 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts of electricity. So that will answer Mr. Judua's question. In terms of the West African Power Pool, the West African Power Pool is highly beneficial to us because it affords us the opportunity to earn in USD, or more or less is a foreign exchange earner for us. However, we also need to consider that most of the nations in the West African territory are actually also having their own economic challenges. And one of the things we are doing at Geregu is to ensure that we evaluate our risk in terms of receivables so that we do not get into contracts where we do not get paid at the end of the day. So we are looking at the power pool. We are participants, but we are managing our risk carefully. With respect to the gas infrastructure, the problems we have in the industry today has to do with dilapidated gas infrastructure, which is being worked on by the NNPC and the Nigerian Gas Infrastructure Company. I also need to tell you that the federal government has also established the Midstream and Gas Infrastructure Fund, which is expected to facilitate the overall development of gas for power and gas for industries in Nigeria. We believe all these initiatives will improve the gas supply that is required for generation. With respect to our power engineering school, plans, we actually started this a few years ago, but we had to stop because we had to look at the way the industry was evolving. But we have now finalized plans with respect to ensuring that we take advantage of the labor pool in Nigeria to boost our aging workforce in the power industry, not only for Geregu, it will serve as a general preparatory ground for the entire industry.
We are pleased to inform you that the Q1 numbers are looking very good. We have improved generation. We have improved turnover, earnings. Earnings per share would be materially better than what it was in 2023. Improved cash flows, and we expect to release the accounts to the exchange on the 10th of April after the approval of the board. With respect to receivables, and I think it's an important part of our business that needs to be discussed, we have two-pronged solutions. So one is internal, and the other is with the government. With respect to our internal approach, I will refer you to notes 15 and 16 on pages 74 and 75. One of the things we've done as a proactive company is to sell some of our receivables. So in 2023, we sold 21 billion of our old receivables. We sold it to a factor at a cost of about 3.7 billion. This is captured in note 15 on page 74. It came at a cost of 3.7 billion, which is about 17% discount, and this is below our borrowing cost. So as a company, we've been able to save ourselves the headache of carrying on with huge receivables when we could as well just get the cash and use it and redeploy it in the business. So that's what we've done. Secondly, we are diversifying our customer base. So as against selling everything to the embeds, in which case we continue to have huge receivables, we're looking at all the laws and we're considering the options of having bilateral transactions with companies that are consuming anything greater than 1 megawatts in line with the extant laws. On the government side, thank you very much. On the government side, the board and management, we are constantly engaging the government through the embed to ensure that payments are made to us. What we've seen in the last few months is significant improvements in payments. By the time you get the 2024 Q1 accounts on the 10th of April, you would notice the improvement in our cash flows and, of course, our earnings.
To declare a dividend, the board of directors have proposed a final dividend of 8 naira per share for your ratification. This dividend will apply to those names which are recorded in the register of shareholders as of February 27, 2024. May I call on the member to move a motion for the payment of 8 naira dividend per share to all members whose names appear in the register of members as of February 27, 2024.